Let's ask Coach. Which one do you like, Coach?
You like the blue goggles or do you like the got karma?
I think the blue goggles.
Blue goggles. Blue goggles.
Man.
Jeff Judkins with us on BYU Sports Nation, former NBA star, BYU women's basketball coach. This is a big week for BYU basketball in general. The men and the women both have the rivalry showdowns with Utah. The men against number 13 Utah tonight. We'll get to that in a moment because you've played in that game. But your team has Utah on Saturday, coming off of a win against Weber State. And we were discussing during the break, you can't exactly call it a pretty win, but a win no less for your team. What's the state of your team today?
Well, we're pretty beat up. We played 3 games in six nights and in really 3 different venues, and which we knew this was going to be hard. This was a hard time, but we kind of came out flat. And teams come out mentally fatigued and physically, and I thought last night we kind of had a little both. I called some plays and we didn't execute them, and we lost. We did some things defensively. Our assignments, we didn't really listen to that too well. and then of course physically we got tired. I saw some girls that were tired. They were physically tired, and it's hard. The season's hard right now. December's a hard month because of school and travel, and they are big games that you guys mentioned before I got in here, that it's a big month for BYU men's basketball in December. Well, it's a big month for really a lot of teams because you're trying to play some good teams before you get to your conference, play.
Yeah, Coach. Despite all of the things that went on yesterday, I really liked the play of Morgan Bailey and Lexi Eaton, both combined for 53 points. Man, there's a stat that Spencer brought up. I think when you guys have 3 players that can go into double digits, you guys are undefeated right now. With the outstanding play of those two, who do you see being that third player stepping up?
Well, in the past, it's a few games. It's been Mackenzie Morrison who's really done it. But teams have made a decision. Their decisions are: do you take the inside presence away, and by doing that, you have to double Morgan, and that gives somebody an open look, or do you play her straight up, and then do you try to help off Lexi Eaton when she penetrates? And if you do that, then that gives Mackenzie or Jojan or Kylie an opportunity to get an open shot. And last night they switched everything and they let those 2 score, and they didn't help. They didn't really try to do some things, and so thank goodness they were ready to play, and they took the opportunity. And I think both Morgan and Lexi are very hard to guard one-on-one, but we need the third person. I think you're 100% right. We need somebody, either a bench or somebody, and I really think Mackenzie's probably the best fit because Kim Beeston did it last year. Mackenzie's playing her position where they're going to give her some shots, and we're going to watch film today, both of us, and see if there's some way I can get her some more shots where she can get that opportunity. Ashley causes a lot of problems too, where she can get to the basket, but when everybody's switching everything, then there's not a lot of mismatches that way. So, we got to get her involved.
Bottom line is you won. Even if it was ugly,
Right.
You get the win. You find a way to win and move on. You can learn through those, and that's always a nice thing to do as a coach, and have your coaching staff be able to teach while you win. You bring up the third score for BYU men's basketball this year. They've had 4 guys consistently score in double figures: Tyler Haas, Kyle Collinsworth, Chase Fisher, and Anson Winder. They don't have much of a post presence, which is the opposite of your team, but they're scoring the ball from the outside. Why do you like this BYU team? Why do you think they're leading the nation in scoring?
Well, they're up-tempo. That's number one. Then you just mentioned 4 players that can score in so many different ways. Outside with Fisher, and then Collinsworth gets in the basket, and how are you going to guard that? And then Haas is probably the most well-rounded scorer on their team. He can get to the foul line, and he's automatic, and he runs the floor, and he shoots the ball now from the outside a little better, and he can put the ball on the ground. And Winder's been a surprise. I think he's the big factor tonight, in my opinion, because
What did I say?
Because they're going to give him shots. Because if they don't, Collinsworth's going to get to the basket. Now, the one thing Utah has that BYU has not faced really that much this year is they got a good big. that can block shots. But Collingsworth is a different kind of penetrator. He's so strong that I don't see that, and he's a bigger point guard, that I don't see that bothering him as much as it bothers somebody else. But I think Winder's going to have a good game, and I don't know if he's got the assignment to guard right. I don't know that. My gut feeling is it's probably him.
Yeah, Lance is the lockdown defender, and DeLon Wright's
and
their best
the
player.
other night, I watched Hawaii. The zone hurt him. The zone, Hawaii attacked the zone very well. When BYU went man-to-man, they did a good job and got him ahead in the game. And I don't know, that's one thing about their team defensively is they've got really a great zone, and then they've been playing better man-to-man. And so it'll be curious to see what happens. If Utah starts bombing away on shots, then they got to go, man, who's going to guard Wright, who likes to penetrate? And I think it's probably Winder.
You've played in this rivalry game. With no football, it seems like there's now even more investment into this game because it's the one big stage where BYU and Utah meet at the Marriott Center with a sellout expected. What does this game mean tonight for both of these teams?
Well, I think the most important thing is it's Utah. You can every time you walk somewhere, everybody knows if you beat them or lost, and so that's a big issue. I think playing one game and not having football this year, it means a bigger. I know when I played at Utah, we never beat BYU in football, so we had to make it up in basketball, which we were fortunate. We won 7 out of 8 times, and so I was lucky to do that. But I think third is this is a big game. You're talking about NCAA, and I don't know if BYU has to be so much in single seed digits, but they've got to be at least a 10. They can be a 10 or 11 or lower. That helps them because when you get to be a 13 or a 12 seed, it's harder. It is. You're playing 2 really hard games. Yeah. That's what happened to us last year. We had to play 2 really good teams to get to
NC State and Nebraska. Just speaks to what you did.
So I think that, and I think the other thing is Dave Rose hasn't lost here, and so I'm sure that's important for him. But this is the last time Tyler's going to play Utah, and that's a big game. I remember my last time was a big game, and so there's all these things bundling up, and it's exciting. It's exciting because I went to practice yesterday, and there's these tents sitting out there ready for the game. That's what college basketball is about, in my opinion, to have the excitement of this, and so I'm sure it'll be a great game. It really, both teams are playing well right now.
Speaking of the excitement, you like it when coaches are shooting back and forth,
taking friendly jabs.
Friendly jabs. Does that make it more exciting for you?
Well, I know right now that guarantee you some of the things that Coach at Utah said was probably posted.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's going to make you play better, but it's going to make you have a lot more fire, and they always say that the hungry cat's the one that plays the best, and I think when you get somebody saying things that you feel like your team's better than that, I think the best way is just to be, just let your playing do it. Talking is not always the best way, but when that ball goes up, it doesn't make a difference. It becomes who execute, what matchups. Crowd can help get you the energy that you need. Hopefully they don't get too excited. But BYU's played big games. A lot of these guys have played big games, so I don't think that's going to affect them. And I just hope they come out and, the thing Utah has this year they haven't had, they've got inside presence, and that's a big issue, And BYU is not as strong there, but they have a lot of bodies they can put out there. So it'll be interesting.
We need to give you credit for your very accurate prediction the last time you were on the show before the BYU-Utah State game. I believe you said it's going to be close, and then BYU will pull away with about 8 or 10 minutes left. They started to pull away with 12 minutes left in the game, but it was like, I can't believe how close you were. So now that you have established your awesomeness as our BYU Sports Nation prediction machine, what's your prediction for tonight's BYU-Utah game?
It's going to go 2 ways. It's either going to be an overtime game.
Okay.
Or I think BYU will win the game probably by 6 to 8 points.
Okay.
I think if BYU And I think your 80 points is pretty accurate. I think they're going to score that. I think in that, and I think by doing that they'll win. If Utah holds them under that, then I think the game will be nick and tuck, and it'll go an overtime game and everything. But this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great game.
Do you have a good seat, Coach?
You know, I gave my tickets to my car dealer.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, because at the time I didn't know when I thought the game was going to be played when we'd be gone and whatever, and so I do have another 2 tickets. I'll probably try to see if I can get here tonight. If not, I'll sneak in with my pass.
Yeah, listen,
I'm trying to sneak in too.
We can work something out for you.
See if I can get in, but it should be a great game.
I'm just gonna follow you because you're much taller than me, so I'll just hide behind you. Then we'll go our separate ways after that. We'll meet back up to get some popcorn.
That's right, I hear it.
Hey, Coach, great to talk to you as always. Good luck against Utah on Saturday.
We liked also. Hey, and we play Utah. You said Saturday. After this game tonight, we'd like to have some people come
get up there and support.
Support us. We'd like to do it. So, thanks a lot.